Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Aviation Show. How are you all doing? I hope you are all well. As always, just let us know in the comments, please, if you can hear me and everything's coming through okay. And once I start seeing that dropping in, I will crack on. Good to see loads of people already in there chatting away. Beta Sean from GEEKSVANA, Phantom Flight 101, you were keen. Brian Forward, nice to see you. Paul, good to see you, Paul. Martin, Chris, William from Terrestrial Reconnaissance, hello. And Zoomazet. Nice tipple is as back in code. Very nice, very nice. I'm on the apple and blackcurrant, rock and roll. I was going to rock up with a beer, but it'd be my first beer of like the lockdown, and to be honest, I'm trying not to. So there we go. Robbie Mortlock, hi. Who else we got in? Norrie, nice to see you. Ian in London, hello Ian. And Sean from GEEKSVANA as well. Our two guests for this evening. Sean joining us every week now to give us the lowdown. He's had a few bits going on his channel. If you haven't checked that out already, you can go and look at that afterwards. And we've got Ian in London joining us later on as well to chat through a few bits and pieces. Good. Disappearing glass. Yeah, I forgot. There's the edge of the green screen, right? Tricks of the trade. Right, good stuff. Ladies and gents, thank you for joining us. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are all staying safe. And for those of us in England anyway, managing to potentially get out and do a few bits and pieces, please let us know in the comments if you have been out to fly your drone at all. It'd be really interesting to see what people have been doing and how you have been reacting to the easing of the lockdown in England and obviously in Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. Not quite there yet, but I guess we will get there eventually, but it's all for the greater good. I suppose in the drone world it's been an interesting one. We chatted last week about a few bits being released by DJI. The Matrice 300 came out this time last week, and we had a chat with Sean about that last week on the channel. And I think, the big one for us has been I've had a lot of flack over the last week for, particularly from the FPV community, strangely. I think it's one of those that the FPV community, I guess the video has been shared around in that community, and they decided they were all going to come and hate on the channel. So it's interesting, a lot of people unfortunately kind of having to block their comments because they were quite offensive. Not to me necessarily, I don't really care, but to the casual viewer. So quite interesting. And it's one of those things, like, people I think forget I genuinely am not the guy from the CAA. I'm just doing this to try and help people out and help people try and understand the crazy rules and regulations, the layers and layers of red tape that we kind of are having to go through at the moment. So I think it's one of those things, right? That's all we're trying to do on the channel, and we are going to move more towards the aviation stuff in the next couple of weeks. So I guess that's going to bring a potentially slightly different crowd. But I hope you've been enjoying what we've been doing. We're pretty much there with the studio now. Hopefully the sound is a lot better than it was. We got a proper dedicated microphone. We got all the lighting and stuff in here now. So yeah, there we go. But as always, drop down. Hi Eric, how's it going? Drop down in the comments where you are and what you've been up to, and let's crack on. I'm going to get our first guest lined up. We're going to chat to Sean from GEEKSVANA about what he's been up to, and he's had a few interesting bits going on over the last couple of days in particular. Here he is. Bear with me a sec.
Hello, sir.
There we go. Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Not too bad. How are you keeping with all the kind of lockdown and easements and stuff?
Yeah, ironically, the first day that we can move around a lot more, or the first couple of days, I haven't been out much.
Right.
I think I'd actually left my house more during the actual lockdown than I have recently.
Yeah.
Just been busy with work and having to stay in front of the computer, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to at least be allowed now to go out there and be very careful, of course, and get our little drones in the sky. I think it's a fantastic reflection on our little hobby that there weren't too many reports. I know there's been a few reports of illegal flights, but they're just silly. But we haven't had too many reports of hobbyists being warned by police and that type of thing. So I think that's a good sign that we really are a very responsible hobby in the UK. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, perfect. No, it's a good shout. I mean, I don't know whether you seen that that clip from the Blue Angels in America. Yeah, it's
Yes,
what is that all about? You know, whoa.
it's mind blowing, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's just incredible, simply incredible. I was chatting with one of the other drone news guys from the States, Jeff Sills, about that just a few minutes ago, and we just cannot fathom how anybody could ever possibly believe that that was an okay thing to do, because obviously there will be, I haven't checked the FAA site, but I'm sure there were temporary flight restrictions in place for that type of display, and it is absurd, because of course, as you know, with your experience in military aviation, in a display flight like that, many of the pilots aren't even necessarily looking exactly where they're going. They're watching each other, and the lead pilot, of course, is doing so much of the work, and everyone's working as a team. So there's, when you're messing around with a display flight, there's even more danger, arguably, than just going up against a standard helicopter or something.
Yeah, that's it. And it was only a few years ago actually that tragically the Blue Angels actually did have a fatal accident.
Absolutely.
Because everyone was, as you do when you're in formation, you cannot take your eyes off the lead aircraft. That is like the forbidden, the ultimate sin really of kind of formation flying, is to take your eyes off the leader or your reference aircraft.
Yes.
Because that is the biggest threat to you at the time. So yeah, unbelievable,
Yeah,
I hate myself for saying it, but it's incredible footage, but at the same time, should not exist and shouldn't have been there. And I dare say that person, probably speaking out of turn here, is going to prison at some point along the way, potentially,
Yeah, indeed. Although I've been shocked just how many people have been sharing the original footage on their channel. So actually, there's about 50 channels getting the blame for it at the moment. So perhaps that's part of his plan to melt into the background, is to have everybody publish it. But
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it's but no, not cool. Thankfully, though, like you say, the majority of people, I think, in the UK have been adhering to the spirit of the guidelines.
Yes.
And I think certainly the commercial side and the recreational side, we put a couple of videos out there over the last couple of weeks that were, I suppose, in a way, a little bit controversial. They weren't meant to be, but they certainly polarised opinion, like should you be flying or shouldn't you be flying?
I don't know why, and we one thing I love about coming on your channel here is we never rehearse what we're going to say. You never say, oh, don't talk about this, talk about this. So this isn't planned, dear audience. But one thing that amazes me is the reaction you get to some of your videos. The Mr. MPW YouTube channel is nothing but a resource for us, especially UK droners, be that professional or hobbyist. There's so much content on there, and I can never work out why people seem to think you are the one telling the CAA almost what to do. Not even as if you're part of it. It's almost as if you are the head honcho making all the decisions. It's an incredible reaction, really.
It's strange, isn't it? It's very
but I suppose
strange.
they also say, of course, in entertainment, if you're getting a reaction, then you're doing something right, of course, because the amount of people that or those small minority that don't like it, the rest of us love what you're doing. So of course it more than balances out.
Yeah, that's it. And nothing that it is, it's genuinely here to be a resource. And the reason that we're doing this stuff is to try and keep people safe, and it's to try and ensure, if nothing else, the longevity of the hobby side and the commercial side by making people aware of the rules and regulations, and it's not my fault if people don't like them, but as it is, I've got to take the flak for it, I guess. And but I suppose what is nice is that for every, and you've probably seen them, right? Because I know you watch the comments, the videos. For every interesting comment I get, there are 5 or 6 people that either jump to jump on that person generally, or that jump to assist.
Which as a creator is always a difficult one, isn't it? Because you almost don't want people to go up against the trolls either, because you kind of just let them be and let them have their little tiny bit of space and let them disappear off. We had our we had our first video this week since I've been a creator, where we've had a really big reaction to, which was a dentist over near Birmingham, Wolverhampton, in fact, who decided to hit the first UK delivery of drugs on a Mavic Pro.
Yeah.
And we exposed it. We talked about the issue, the fact that it was carrying drugs, that type of thing, the fact that it wasn't, it's not designed. He said he hacked it. Where he took off from was very close to an airfield. So we just, as usual, did the facts. And unfortunately, the local population all decided to come onto the video and place their comments that because he's a nice guy, he should be let off, which unfortunately, that isn't how aviation law works.
No, not at all. And as cool as it is, and as exciting as it is, and it's good marketing and stuff, we've just got to make sure that people understand the rules and regs, and that we don't, because although that's been in the rules, right? Like, you might get 50,000 people that think that's amazing, but then you get the man from the CAA or the lady from the CAA that sees it and says, hang on a minute, that's not quite right, or the Daily Mail see it, and it ends up, other red tops are available, and it ends up getting dragged through the press, and drone devastates lives, and here we go again.
Exactly. And if he isn't held to account, or if the pilot isn't held to account, the issue there, of course, is where does it stop? Does the local kebab shop decide they're going to start sending their kebabs out by Mavic Air 2 or something? It's which is why the rules are there. And one of the rules that I really do support is that visual line of sight. Because it's so vital, in my opinion, to keeping especially hobbyists very safe.
Yeah, that's it. And bear in mind that the visual line of sight rule actually exists not just to keep you and your drone safe, but more importantly, I'd suggest it's there to stop you bumping into another aeroplane, a proper aeroplane or helicopter. It's myself and my friends and my colleagues that fly around at low level. And, you've probably seen it on the courses, right? The bird strike I had in Iraq, and I will share that with the channel at some point soon.
Yes, that is fascinating.
There's a couple of reasons I can't, and you liken that to a Phantom, or and it's like, oh shit, actually, I probably shouldn't be doing this. I think, but we need to get that message out there. So
it's just that the picture I always have in my mind with beyond visual line of sight and hobbyists, and obviously you'll know this with your background in military helicopters, is an EMS helicopter taking off from a field or something. The last thing they're looking for is your Phantom coming flying towards them, and just the multiple, obviously being an emergency helicopter, the multiple levels of danger that creates. But thankfully, the vast majority of us flyers seem to adhere to the laws, which is wonderful. It's a very positive community in the UK from that point of view.
Yeah, that's it. And I think certainly the military side have seen very good engagement, positive engagement from the drone community, which is really important. Yes. I can see people popping in to see and avoid, but that's the point, right? If you can't see your aircraft, you can't avoid another aircraft. Not to put the onus on the drone operators, but as a manned, aviator with thousands of flying hours, you can't see. I it was at night on goggles, so it's probably a poor example. But even in the daytime, when I've had bird strikes, you can't see the one that hits you.
No, that's right.
It just bang, it hits the windscreen and smashes through without you even knowing it was there. So, yeah, quite interesting, mate. But, no. So, I'm going to ask you a question. You've got something behind you there. You've had a new toy today.
I have. And
nice.
Which you very kindly put out on your socials of my live unboxing. Thank you for that. We had to go slightly earlier than planned due to technical issues, but this sat fully boxed with the plastic on it for at least 7 hours in my house, and I think I deserve some kind of reward for that.
A medal. How
since
did you
then,
do that?
I haven't left this desk since that live stream, which was a couple of hours ago now, and I've just been sitting here stroking and charging and applying props and making sure everything's fitting nice and snug. I have to say, I know Ian's going to talk about the flight of it, and actually there is anyone who hasn't got Ian of London as a channel, you need to get him. His Mavic Mini videos are sensational, but if you go back all through his channel, he is as important to the UK drone industry, I believe, that as Matt. People like Matt and Ian are essential for our hobby to survive. I recommend go back, but I know he'll talk about flying it. But I have to say, quality-wise, I also own a Mavic Air 1. it feels really sturdy, really, really solid. And I've been very, very impressed by it, obviously without it going in the sky. And my fears regarding the controller have subsided a little bit. It isn't huge, as you can see, and it does fit very comfortably in the hands. And again, feels really solid, which I'm really pleased about. Nice little tripod mode there. So maybe one day, if DJI decides to release the C2 version, you never know.
And crucially, mate, it doesn't have that stamp on it, right?
Exactly.
Because again, it was something, and it came up in the comments a few times. I think it's one of these things. It went out on a forum. Someone was like, "Oh, this guy's talking bullshit. Doesn't know what he's on about. Some expert he is." And they posted a link to the CE Declaration of Conformity for the controller, and I was like, "No, it has to be by law CE conform. It has to conform because it's a transmission device.
Exactly.
That's what that is. It isn't the CE drone category, and it doesn't crucially have that stamp on, which means that it isn't a categorized drone.
And it's not going to say CE, of course. It's going to say C0, Z1, C2, and it's going to have its own special little marker, which is going to be hugely publicized, and we're all going to be very excited. Apart from me, who will then have to sell this for £100 and go out and buy the new one for £1,000. But
c'est la vie, eh?
Yeah, the price of the hobby.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'll tell you what, I've done some serious investment talking about hobbies and what you spend. I've bought, we're setting the simulator up, and you're actually sat inside it right now, right? And,
the picture you posted on social media with the blur. I sat like this for a minute watching that, thinking, because I've got a really nice setup in here, but it's for YouTube, so it's lots of small monitors.
Yeah.
How big are those TVs?
It's 3 55-inch 4K monitors. Yeah.
Okay, I have to come and have a play at some point.
Yeah, you really do. It's pretty serious. So the last parts of it came today. The glass cockpit came today. I've set that up, and so that
actual
will be
glass cockpit between you and the TVs, basically.
Yeah, so there's a proper cockpit with the controls and the 2 glass screens and the comm panel in the middle and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be awesome to share that with everyone over the next few days and start to shoot that content. So I'm
really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we do pay for the hobby, that's for sure, don't we? But
will you do one episode of you wearing your aviation jacket that we all love? We have to get a couple of shots of you wearing that with the sunglasses sat inside the glass.
Mate, could you imagine? Yeah, I'll do it. If people want it, let us know in the comments. I'll do it.
We want it, don't we, guys?
Ace. Well, mate, listen, it's fantastic to talk to you. Thank you very much. Are you
always
on Ken's show later on after this?
No, I just publicise Thursday Night Live every week because I'm a huge fan. It's actually Ken and that channel and that show is the reason why I started YouTube myself. So I always put his thumb. He sends me his thumbnail and I always whack it up on my socials. But I will be in the live chat if anyone wants to come and say hello.
Awesome. All right, mate. Well, listen, thank you ever so much for joining us. Everyone say thank you to Sean at GEEKSVANA. If you haven't followed him already, please go and follow him. He's in the kind of, I think, group of YouTubers now that we're building as a community, and it's really good, like we talked about last week, to be helping each other out and getting each other on and chatting within that as a community. And we want you, ladies and gents, who are watching, and in the if you're watching this live or if you're watching it on a replay, we want you to be part of that community as well. So join us on our Discord server, come and join us in the comments, and support your channels, because we're here to help you. All right. But yeah, thank you ever so much, sir. Have a great week, and I will
see you next time.
Speak to you soon. Cheers, dude. Catch you in a bit.
Cheers, bye.
Bye. Good stuff. Well, thank you as always to Sean for joining us there. Before we jump on to Ian in London, because I know everyone's really looking forward to Ian joining us, I've just got something that I want to show us, and it's going to take a few seconds to load up, I think. So I'll just keep talking while this comes on. There we go. So hopefully you can see that on the screen when it comes on. There we go. And this is an awesome picture that came in from one of the subscribers and someone who has been through some training. It might not show up particularly well on the screen. It's a time-lapse image that was taken doing some drone light painting. Now, before people get excited about it, the person who took this photograph does have a PfCO. They did have all the permissions from in fact, I'll just read it out here. It's from a gentleman called Jaimanuel Freire. I will pop a link to all of his socials down in the comments below, probably tomorrow if you're watching this live when I get a chance to. But I just thought I'd show this because it shows what you can achieve with a little bit of creativity, a little bit of ingenuity, and still within the rules and regulations. So I take the photo using my little drone, DJI Mavic Pro, and a torch. Technique's called light painting, but in this case I use the drone to do so, which is very cool. Taking a Boston stump in Lincolnshire. Way to say a big thank you to all the NHS personnel, and thank you to all of the NHS personnel and the key workers who have been keeping us all safe over the last few weeks in particular. To make this, I had permission from the council as well, informing the police and other people. It took me a lot of time to prepare for it. Location in the air, in this case 90 metres. The tower is 80 metres and kept a safe distance from the tower at all times. Fully insured, check the weather, almost no wind, long exposure with Sony A7R II. What an amazing camera. And this photograph is massive, by the way. That's why it took a few seconds to load up. Prepared it using Google Maps Pro and using Lychee to actually get the kind of symbols and the shapes and the writing up there. Small torch on the drone, but check to make sure everything was safe and that the motor can handle the extra weight. And I just think, like I say, this shows what you can do legally, and yeah, go and check out Jaimanuel. I'll drop the link to his socials down below, as I say, tomorrow. So right, over to Ian in London now. I'll just get him called and get him teed up. Yeah, really kind of privileged to have Ian in London joining us tonight. He's going to come on. He's going to be chatting about a few bits and pieces. Hello, sir. How are you? Here we go. Bear with me a sec. I'm sorry you can't see me. I haven't got my virtual camera working with Streamlabs, I'm afraid. Especially because the computer decided to do a dump on me this afternoon at about 5 o'clock when I was testing, and that was it. I had to literally rebuild the computer and get it all sorted. But there we go. No, thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. I know we only teed this up kind of last minute. I'm sorry, but that's kind of how things are at the moment. It's all like, let's get everything done around other things. But for those who haven't seen Ian yet, Ian, like Sean said, really is one of those people who are certainly one of the reasons I think I got into doing the YouTube thing. Sean got into doing the YouTube thing. You've been doing it for a long time, and the content you do is awesome, particularly for the recreational side, but I know you've got PfCO and stuff as well. And importantly, you've got a Mavic Air 2.
I have probably had too many drones for my own good, but yes, this turned up a couple of days ago, and I was that's why I didn't answer your email until today, because yesterday I was outside playing with this all day long, basically doing my best to make it crash into a tree doing the active track, and
nice.
I am putting together a very quick first flight, which includes the active track. Me and Ted were just running around the garden like Billy-O. I was purposely going under trees, and for a drone that hasn't got side sensors, it just seemed to have 360-degree protection. I was absolutely amazed. And I'm not normally a one for gadgets. I'll be honest, I've never used APAS. And I've hardly used active track too much, to be honest, because I always thought it would just bump into trees. But this was incredible. So I had a lot of fun yesterday.
Nice. And amazing weather for it as well, eh? It's
very lucky, yes. I was kind of I want a windy day, actually. And it's a shame that I didn't have the Air 2 on Sunday, when we started off at 23 degrees centigrade in the morning and got down to 6 degrees by the afternoon, and mine wasn't a windy day. And I don't know if you've flicked back through some of the things I do, but I do like to do wind tests.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of ingrained in my blood after 3 years ago down in Dover, once bitten, twice shy. So yeah, every drone I get now, I kind of do a little wind test. And I'll be trying to do. I don't see there's going to be a problem with this, though. I can see, the original Air, the original Pro, the 2 Pro, they handle the wind without any issues at all. Mini did catch me out, as you probably have seen from some of the videos since Christmas. But it was a breezy day yesterday, and the Air 2 just was slicing through without any issues at all. So very high hopes for this drone, apart from our 2 missing bits of functionality, which I had a bit of a whinge about last week.
Yeah.
But there we go. There we go.
That's it. I mean, those things will come, right? Those things will come. I think quite rightly, I suppose, DJI haven't done it yet. That's if they would have even been able to do it, right? Because
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I've had a few comments saying, well, is there actually a process for them to follow at the moment? And frankly, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, so the definition, the kind of delineation of these are the different categories for certainly up to C2 is out there. Beyond that, not quite yet, because we're a long way off from a place where we're going to be doing beyond visual line of sight and stuff under the GVC. So people know, the manufacturers know what they need to be hitting in terms of qualifying their aircraft.
Like the top speed, which is precisely in line with the regulations, 42 miles per hour.
That's it, exactly bang on, funny old thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know DJI in particular have got a few things going on with older aircraft. Now, this isn't to say that they're going to get them certified, because they probably aren't, but I know that they are certainly looking at a couple of tweaks to current very popular aircraft.
7 grams off the 2 Pro.
Yeah, you might have heard those things too as well, then, eh?
I haven't heard them. It would just make common sense, wouldn't it? 7 grams too heavy.
That's it. Yeah, and that is from our side, that actually did kind of come from a contact at DJI. So they are looking at those things. So they're definitely aware. The process itself does exist, but at the moment, no one's been through it. So it's one of those, like, you've got to choose the company that you're going to use, one of, I think, 2 at the moment, maybe 3 eventually, that can do the certification in Europe. And then you've got to pay them the money to get it certified. And I think taking that leap, given that the regulations haven't even come in yet, this is the big thing for me. Like, everyone expecting these drones to have drone categories associated. It's like, would you do it if there's a chance that the CAA might not even adopt it? I'm not saying that, right? I've not heard that from the CAA. No. I genuinely haven't, but it's...
Well, they didn't waste time in pushing it back to no earlier than 1st of November, did they, really?
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's the thing where it's like, well, every time we ask them, they're like, no, we're going ahead with it. We're going ahead with it, which is a good thing, because we've invested a lot of time and effort in learning all the new stuff and getting ready for it. But it's... I don't think we're going to see them backtrack on it, because they won't.
No, I mean, I don't know if you watched my PfCO video. I certainly wasn't shy in giving my opinion of the relevancy of the coursework and the test, if you like.
Yeah.
And I know I was listening to you earlier, and you were saying, you're only the mouthpiece. You are not. You're only the messenger. You're not the person making up the rules. But sometimes they do not feel like common sense, Matt. And it would be nice if you turned around and said, "I think this is stupid." Because you probably get a lot more thumbs up rather than abuse hurled at you.
I know.
And, with regards to the, well, I mean, I've go on a rant here, and I need to stop.
No, do it.
So, nothing could be, I mean, I did all the PfCO, and then I was like, great, so now I can fly 50 meters to a congested area rather than 150 meters. So I've spent $1,000 and I've basically got nothing. Except I can now charge to have a look at someone's guttering if so desired. So, I mean, I was certainly no fan of the existing rules, and it is a shame, I think. I mean, it's good that they've gone on to, the new rules for, I'm sure most of your followers will know, because you've explained it so well. But basically, having risk-based and drone category-based rules makes perfect sense. I just think already they've got too much of a complex matrix going on here.
Yeah.
The majority of consumer drones are under 1 kilogram. The majority of professional drones are well over 1 kilogram. Why not just have a 1 kilogram category?
Yeah.
Why not just have some, You know, if you're going to have a super lightweight, so people can fly in their back gardens if they want, you know, for the sub 250 gram, have a special little category for that.
Yeah.
But, you know, still, it's just too complicated. And I genuinely think, who is ever going to understand and be able to enforce them? And, you know, I think, unfortunately, like so many of the rules, it'll only become an issue if you cause an issue and are then investigated. But for the 99.9% of people who don't know about the rules or may inadvertently break the rules, really, what will happen? I doubt anything will, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a lot, because and this is it, right? I suppose I have to, in a way, because of how we set the channel up, and I'm going to say it, right? Unfortunately, because of my position in the industry, I have to toe the line of, these are the rules and regulations, guys. You know, and I probably have loads more followers and loads more likes if I did do and say what I wanted to do and say, and if I told you what I used to do in the past before the rules and regulations, you know, back in the day.
Yes.
But, you know, yeah, I fully agree, mate. It's verging on the absurd in a way, and I'd be lying if I said that we haven't had legal people look at it for us, and I think it would be very difficult for a court, when the new regulations come in, to, even if someone was, you know, I know ignorance is no excuse, and it's certainly not, you know, it's not going to get you out of an issue in court, but a reasonable lawyer could probably argue that the regulations are too complicated and you didn't understand them fully. So yeah, it's I don't know, it needed to be a lot simpler than it is. The big one is, though, that these regulations were written, or started being written, in 2015, and the drone world was a lot different then. And
Yes.
you know, they never thought, I think Jarrus, who ultimately were directed to start writing these, they never thought there would be a 900 gram or less drone that would be in someone's hands that would be any use. You know, it's and that's how quickly technology's changed, right? It's
it.
The regulations are trying to keep up, and
failing, you know, and
yeah.
you know, it's quite funny. I happened to watch the no, it was on the Grey Arrows. I was reading. I don't know if you remember. There was this hour-long thread on how the EASA rules were going to implement HITUS, and there was a lot of discussion about the Mavic Mini, and it was like, no, maximum, you know, takeoff mass and all of that. And I was like, so when I got the update the other day and actually read the little article that you actually did your video on a couple of days ago with the you know, the diet,
Yeah.
I was like, fantastic, a bit of common sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, inside I was like, maybe, just maybe, we will get retrospective certification for some of these drones. If, you know, if this drone suddenly gets proper certification in 5 months' time, then why should we not get retrospective certification for the exact same model with the exact same specs that just happened to be out, you know, bought a few months before? So I live in hope, but can I rant?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. Do we want to see Ian in London do one of his legendary rants? Put it in the comments. But no, go for it, mate. You go for it.
And I definitely don't want to be coming across as some grumpy old git who's just moaning for the sake of it. Right. This remote control, yeah, it feels absolutely fine. But one of the first things that I'll be moaning about, when you try and put your phone in, for a start, it's fiddly, and your power buttons and your volume buttons all along the top are constantly being pressed by the thing. Ian's not impressed with the new remote, but saying that, the old remote wasn't too good because it used to clamp over the ends and cover the light sensor, and your screen would go black.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll get used to it, I'm sure. But,
that's it. And no stupid antennas that people keep pointing all in different directions because no one knows where to put them.
At least there are no antennae now. But yeah, I don't know whether or not they've kind of made it the same size of the smart controller, so that when you see the smart controller, you'd be like, oh, that's just like mine, except I haven't got the lovely shiny screen. But anyway, early days. I'm not going to moan for the sake of it, but it is a bit of a shame that the remote is now wider and bigger than the drone itself in some respects.
Yeah.
But But the drone itself, let's get onto the Air 2. I told you I could talk for England.
That's it. No, you go for it, mate. Everyone's loving it, so they love the rant as well.
I can't see any of the comments here at the moment.
Oh no, sorry. I'll relay anything interesting or exciting.
I haven't done a Skype live kicking, so at the moment I'm just staring at a little tiny thumbnail of me and nothing else. So
sorry.
Apologies to everyone if I'm ignoring your comments. But yeah, I actually filmed the first flight when I first started it up. And as you'll see from the video, which if I finish editing, I'll get it out tomorrow, hopefully.
Cool.
I'm extremely happy with the noise because the original Air was like the little swarm of wasps. I have to say, actually, I don't understand why they've called this the Air 2. It is nothing like the original Air. At least when the 2 Pro came out, it was roughly the same shape, rather, the same design, same capabilities with regards to, you know, OcuSync transmission and many of the smart features and the like. But it was obviously a step up, whereas the Air 2 is, in my opinion, a slight step down from the 2 Pro. That's actually where I put it. A lot of other YouTubers are saying, you know, yeah, it's halfway between the Mini and the 2 Pro. No, in my opinion, it is way beyond halfway. Yes, it hasn't got a variable aperture. Sadly, it's using the Fly app instead of the Go 4 app, which obviously loses a lot of the additional adjustments that it's fun to make, the EXP adjustments and the like. But fundamentally, it is twice the price of the Mini, but it is way more than twice the drone of the Mini. And it is definitely not half Mavic 2 Pro. I absolutely love the 2 Pro. You know, it is obviously for me the full the main bit of kit I use for most of my flights. But this now will become my hiking drone. And I used to use the Air all the time because the Air was very light in your backpack, and the Air did slice through the wind. I mean, fantastic. I would go hiking in Wales, climb to the top of the mountain, and chuck the Air up, and it didn't bat an eyelid with all the wind. But you know, the battery life really annoyed me, right, to say the very least. Whereas this it just ticks all the boxes. That's why I was a little bit. I think you were a little bit anti it when you were quite mixed a couple of weeks ago when you know, it's a pile of rubbish or something you said. And I'm like, no, come on, let's keep it a bit realistic. Mate. It's very annoying that it's not certified. And very annoying that it hasn't got the ADS-B, but it's amazing.
That's it. I mean, that was me going off on one of my rants, right? Which doesn't happen very often anymore. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But again, as much as it pains me to kind of admit it, I mean, I did do a video the following day. I actually shot them at the same time.
You're quite quick to turn around, actually. I was like, oh, good.
Well, we actually shot them at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, and we released the one where it's like, don't get it shite first. To be honest, to get the views. And to put across the fact that everyone was like, it's going to be certified. It's, you know, and I was like, it's not going to be certified. And the only way to get that message out to the 5, 7, 10,000 people who were going to do it was like, this thing's shit. And then people watched it and went, oh, okay. And then we got, you know, the actual message across, which is, it's actually a really good drone for, you know, the capabilities and particularly the battery life in something that small and light. You know,
but the speed as well. I mean, I was flying it around my field. You know, I never lose sight of how lucky I am, even through the lockdown. And you can see the lockdown tan has been coming along well.
Strong.
I've got a big garden, you know. It's a lot of work. Yeah. But I'm out there a lot. But to be able to fly straight out of my back garden is fantastic. And it really was. You know, I've got these various markers, these various little woods, various oak trees that I fly to, and I know how long it normally takes. This thing just shot through the wind. And I was like, we're not going to have any flyaways, blowaways issues with this, but not the Mini. Mini, you know, it was quite a little learning curve for me there. Actually, it was quite interesting. First time I really analysed all the flight data via airdata.com and actually looked into the different wind speed that they can calculate based on the pitch and the stick input, and you know how fast it should have been moving and how fast it wasn't moving, and they can actually work out what the likely wind speed was. So fantastic analysis there. And it really was amazing to see just how much the wind increases, literally just 30 meters, 40 meters high. And, you know, again, Dover, losing my Mavic Pro over Dover, I analysed it, all the flight data. I analysed what went wrong, learnt the mistakes, and then made a video at it. And actually, that was my very first proper YouTube video. And it was not this burning desire to become a YouTuber. It's because I was quite active on the DJI forum, and we'd all been looking forward to the Mavic Pro, and we'd all been chatting about it. And I had the Phantom 3 for a year without ever crashing it. And so I figured I could trust myself with a £1,000 drone. And it lasted 2 weeks before I managed to completely pick it up.
Yeah.
And even though I'd purchased the Care Refresh, because I couldn't find the drone itself, they wouldn't replace the bloody drone.
Oh,
so
no.
you analyse it, you learn what went wrong, and you make a little video. And I only thought that first video was going to, get a few hundred views on the forum, and that was it. And I was going to be happy if nobody else made the same mistakes as I did. But yeah, when it just kept on going up and up and up and up, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then people subscribing to me. I'm like, why are you subscribing to me? Are you expecting more videos? And,
Yep.
and there we go. And yeah, that's how it all happened 3 years ago. And crazy how I still get comments on that video. I still get people, go back and look for it with another drone.
It's probably swum back to China by now. Oh,
but it's all good. It's all good fun.
That's
One thing, actually, I was just going to say, Matt. Again, sorry, I told you you didn't shut me up.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
What Sean was also saying as well. When you get, I'm very lucky. I get very little in the way of trolling. I get very few negative comments. I mean, I try and be reasonable, but occasionally you do just get the odd idiot, and you should just never feed the trolls, is my advice. Delete the comment.
Yeah.
Goes away. It's like the old bully in the school in the playground. If you don't get all upset, if you don't fight back, they're like, oh, you're boring, and they move on.
Yeah.
I've only had to do that probably 6 or 7 times in 3 years. But yeah, don't ever be frightened of deleting the comment.
No, and we quite often do. It's just it's just really, and I'm very much with you on that, But and like I've done the public speaking thing for years outside of YouTube, which obviously we've only been going for a year on YouTube, so it is different. And obviously the demographic and the psychographic is considerably different a lot of the time, but because if people have paid to be in a room with you and there's 500 people there, then they're interested in hearing about what you've got to say, right? That's it. Yeah. But obviously it's open to everyone, isn't it, the internet? And and you realise you're putting yourself out there, but it's when it obviously got shared on something like an FPV forum, and you get all the FPVers coming on, and you have to remove 120 comments. And my wife the other day was like, just disable comments. I'm like, the thing is, if I do that,
no, that's a shame. Yeah, I agree.
And it's like, look, these aren't my rules. I'm not saying you should have to stick to them. Like, if you want to change it, speak to an MP or the CAA, right? Not bitch and moan in the comments. But yeah, no, I hear exactly what you're saying, mate. It's just,
I mean, FPV as I see it, under the rules, I didn't watch that particular video, but I'm kind of guessing it's not fully legal because you're not. Let's not get into it.
yeah, that's it. Let's stay away.
I tried the Parrot Mambo once and almost fell over because I was getting so disorientated with the goggles. So I guess I'm a big wuss in the FPV community. So I'll stick to what I know, which is GPS semi-autonomous enabled drones that you've really got to work hard to lose. And yet somehow, occasionally we still do.
Yeah,
so
that's it. It's so mate, there's loads of people, and thanks for kind of your support and agreeing with yourself. Delete and block the user if they're rude. Keep the trolls under bridges. I don't mind if people have a different opinion, but using expletives will get insults to get blocked. And do you know what? That's what life's about, right? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I always I really appreciate when people do disagree.
Yeah.
And when they do it constructively in a way and they're showing that, absolutely, I will always engage in an intelligent discussion with somebody that's got an alternative point of view.
Yeah.
It's when they're just dickheads that basically I'm just frankly, I actually had one of my, it's quite funny. I did I did the other day? The manual ISO and shutter speed that just came in on the Mavic Mini. And I did this I was talking to the drone, and I obviously had the mic on, and I matched up the sound of the thing. And then when I finished talking, I said, "That's what I'm talking about today," and I did a big pan back. And somebody put the comment, said, "I thought there was real barrel distortion on the picture," and then I realised it's just the shape of your legs. But he put a smiley face.
Yeah.
And I just took that as good fun. Last night, I had some guy. He just says, "Sorry, can't handle the accent. Next." And I just thought, dude, and I actually replied to him, I said, "Dude, really grow up." And off he went. It's bizarre, like, you know, you can't handle a British accent. But anyway, it's all good fun. You've got to take the rough with the smooth in this game, mate. You're never going to please all of the people all of the time.
No.
And as long as it's intelligent discussion, then it's just good fun. And, you know, I've got a day job. You know, this is a hobby.
Yep.
It's turned into a bit of a nice hobby now. I've got to admit, I get a little bit of money each month from YouTube. That goes into my tech fund.
Nice.
And it is breaking even nicely for every time DJI release a new consumer drone. I can buy it straight out of the tech fund without any actual personal whatever. It's probably why I'm a bit gung-ho with my drones. When you see my first flight tomorrow, you're like, "How close did you get to that oak tree zooming past at 40 miles an hour?
You crazy bastard."
That's it. It's all good fun.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's cool. And congratulations, mate, on, you know, crikey, hitting 21,000, and I think at the moment. And
it went bananas, actually. Over the last 6 months, I think, you know, I used to do a lot of 2 Pro videos because that was my favorite drone.
Yeah.
Then I started doing, somebody said, "Can you do more air videos? Because, you know, lots of us got air." And I did a few more of those, and suddenly it started. And then when the little Mini came out, of course, you know, outside of the drone world, you forget that these are actually quite expensive bits of kit. And a lot of people didn't get into it for fear of dropping it or crashing it. So when this little £350 Mavic Mini comes out, suddenly off it went. And yeah, there's no doubt that the type of video I like to do, which is, you know, easy tutorials explaining some of the technical bits, but generally, I mean, like my 25 ways not to crash and the how to prevent flyaways or blowaways. I mean, that was from personal experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, bang. I mean, that 250,000 views in just 3 months. I was like, okay, I obviously touched a little nerve on this one. Yeah, I think Mini, and the same with the Air too. They're going to be very, very popular drones. And it is great to see people engaging so much and genuinely, you know, so many nice little comments, just like, "I've chosen this drone because of what you said on YouTube." And it's actually like, okay, you know, you actually realize you've got quite a high level of responsibility there. People are making financial decisions based on your advice. And I do think, you know, wow, okay, I need to be very careful about what I say and what I recommend and what I do here. So
yeah, no, that's cool, mate. Well, listen, your video hopefully dropping tomorrow for the Mavic Air 2.
Yeah, I was gonna I'll carry on editing it tonight, and I've got me sister down tomorrow visiting. No, she's not visiting, is she? No, what's she doing?
A socially distanced
visit, yeah. So I'm going to employ her as a cleaner. I've discovered that it's legal that way.
She's viewing the house.
That's it, yeah. But I'm going to do my best to get the video up sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it is a bit rough and ready. It's certainly not my review on it. I'll be doing that after I've been playing with it for a good week.
Yep.
One of the things I do pride myself on is that I do fork out and pay for these things. They're not pre-supplied to me, so yes. I don't have to just have a Californian grin and just say everything is hunky-dory. You know, I can slag it off where I need to. And yeah, but so the video tomorrow, I think, will just be my first flight, playing around with the active track, playing around with the various flight modes, and do the review later on. It's quite good. I've got a list of about 10 different things that people have, you know, all been writing in saying, "Can you test this? Can you test this?" Low light. As I said to you earlier, I said, I can't do a range. What is it with range? Why do people want a long range? It's like, you know.
How far can it go? How high can it go?
Far enough. You know, CE specs, it's going to be 3 or 4 miles. How much range do you need? Let Dustin Dunhill do that. He did a great one with Mini, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was like I did watch it for the video, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Tenterhooks to the very end.
That's it. That's it. Well, we got yeah. It's interesting. You know, Sean GEEKSVANA has just popped in. I purchased my Air 1 from Ian's video and was very happy with it. You know,
Really?
so like you say, it is one of those things where you do have that not burden, but that responsibility in a way to put those things across.
It's not. I get a lot of nice emails from because obviously they just click on the website, and on my website, rightly or wrongly, I've just got contact me about anything. So mostly it's thanks. Sometimes it's a little question. Sometimes it's I'm not a help desk here. How do I bind this to my remote to this? And I've been happy with. But generally, I can help out most people, and it's good fun, and that's the main thing. It's all about having fun.
Great stuff, absolutely, mate. Well, listen, thank you for everything that you do for the community. It's very much appreciated. You got lots of love coming in the comments. I know you can't see that, but
I can't. I'll have to review them afterwards.
That's it. You'll be able to go and audit them and redact them after. And thank you for taking the time to join us tonight, because I know, like I say, you're incredibly busy working and doing all this stuff on the side to help everyone.
I don't know how you manage to get a video out every day. I mean, for me, I know I've got more video tracks and soundtracks to splice up and everything, but I find it's an hour per minute. So basically a 5-minute video would take at least 5 to 6 hours of editing. And I just don't know how you manage to spit a video out every day, but good on you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. To be honest, I mean, I have a bit of help doing it, so I can get stuff done. But everything I do is one take, which makes a big difference, right? Like, the quality is lower, I think, than obviously it would be if... give us a wave, okay? The quality is lower than it would be if we spent a week and we did one a week, for example. But yeah, it's literally like I sit down, I turn the camera on, and quite often I don't even have a question. I just turn the camera on and go bang, do an intro, stop it, and then do the 10 minutes of talking. So.
And you don't have a little dog that barks at every passing cyclist.
No.
The editing, God, it's only when you're editing you realise what they were doing behind you. I don't know if you saw, there was one video a couple of months ago, and there was playing, not genuine, but there was a 3-way dog shag going on, basically.
Oh my God, I missed that. You need to send me a link.
I had to splice out. It was my Mavic Mini wind test, the original wind test I did. And I've had so many comments. Like, I turned on for a tutorial and I got dog paws. It was all just play humping, but it got a little bit graphic. And I had no idea that was going on behind me when I was actually filming.
That's amazing. It's all part of the service.
It's all good fun, yeah.
Your dogs are such photo bombers, is what's going on.
Great fun. Do it again whenever if you want, and we'll chat whenever. Okay.
Sounds good. So people say, what's Ian's channel? Ian in London is literally his channel, and there is a link to it, or there certainly will be. I'm sure I'll put a link to it in the video description. If there isn't, there will be.
Plug in Ian in London on Google.
There's only one Ian in London.
Ian in London. So
that's it. And people saying you've got the biggest smile on YouTube, which I won't disagree with. That's it, mate. Thank you ever so much. Have a good evening. Look after yourself, and I'll speak to you soon.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for the good comments. I'll be reading them now. You take care. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Catch you in a bit. There we go. Thank you to Ian for joining us there. Very much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a kind of a more informal vibe is what we're going for on the channel at the moment, and hopefully that's working for everybody. It seems as though those of you who are here are enjoying it, so that's all good. But yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to Sean from GEEKSVANA and Ian in London. Like I say, I'm trying to, in a way, I think, pull together the people who are trying to help the community, because it's so easy for everyone to have their own little empire in a way and their own little area. But you know what? Like, this is, as I say, it's trying to teach everyone in the drone world in a way that actually the community is what it's all about, and I think that extends out to everyone being so helpful and friendly and so open to coming on each other's channels. Seen a few questions dropping in. Can you get my Ops Manual updated for me before July? I certainly can. Go to mrmpw.com, buy the Ops Manual update service, and you'll be walked through it from there, and I'll get it done in the next 5 days. You could have yours done by Mr. MPW, and I actually do those ones that come through there myself. if you've got any other questions, I'll just keep going for another couple of minutes. I'll just see if I can find a few more from above. But I haven't actually seen those many come in that haven't been around the original things to do with people coming on the channel. I saw one drop in about A2 CFC versus GVC and which one to do. It's entirely up to you. The GVC is the kind of pro qualification, if you like. It's the one which is the equivalent of the current PfCO. And bear in mind, you need a PfCO between now and at least the 1st of November to make money from your drone. After that, it's over to the EASA regulations whenever they kick in, which mean you don't need any qualification at all, as long as you stay in the A3 subcategory of the open category, so 150 metres from built-up areas, 50 metres from uninvolved people. And if you can do that and your drone weighs less than 25 kilos, then you can crack on and fly your drone and make money from it. It's if you want to get closer. And the GVC is, like I said, that pro qualification, which is going to get you the most longevity. It's going to allow you to fly more aircraft and be more flexible, but only down to 50 metres, unless you've got the bolt-ons, which are coming later on in the kind of course of the GVC. And then you've got the A2 CFC, which for me is the most interesting. It's the one I think most people are going to go for. That's the one which you've got to, when the new drones come out, the C0, C1, C2 drones, that for me is going to be the absolute killer. Probably the wrong word to use. The absolute kind of top tier qualification in a way, because it's going to be cheap and accessible and allow people to get very close, which is really, really interesting. Any online courses provided to Ireland? Northern Ireland, yes. Ireland, not at the moment, because the IAA demand a different syllabus. But if there's enough of you over there who want that, then let us know and get in touch with me, and we'll certainly look to do that. Robbie Mortlock, tell them all to click the like button. Everyone, please click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, which I cannot believe. So thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed to the channel along the way. It's very, very much appreciated. It keeps us going. And like I say, I think we'll probably hit 4,000 in the next day or two. So please spread the news about the channel if you haven't done so already. Please hit that like button now. Drop it into the comments where you are and what you fly, because all of those engagements really, really help us out. And we're bringing a load of new content to you in the next couple of weeks. Like I say, next week will probably be the last one kind of on the bounce, where it's all drones in the show. We'll be starting to add in some flight sim stuff and some proper aviation bits and pieces as well, bringing some of my contacts from the manned aviation world into the aviation show. And it's nice to see that you're all, I think, enjoying this new format, because it's a little bit kind of less formal, and hopefully you get to see myself and other people in our natural kind of way, rather than telling you what the rules and regulations are. Legal in future, do I just need to register my Mini? Mavic Mini wise, you will just need to register it when the new regulations kick in. At the moment you don't need to, as long as you're flying it without prop guards on and stuff. So GVC won't give permissions to work commercially until November. Need a PfCO till then. Right. From Norrie Airview, Scotland. So if you do your GVC course now, don't do a PfCO course now. That is the big thing, I would say, because you'll get an NQE recommendation. Don't go to an NQE at the moment, because that certificate will be null and void. You won't be able to apply for anything with an NQE recommendation. You need to go to an RAE, a recognised assessment entity. There's quite a few of them now. The companies are transferring over. And if you do the GVC course between now and November, or whenever the regulations kick in, you will be given an RAE recommendation, and it's that piece of paper which is the important thing. You will use that if you want to apply for permissions now. You will be granted a PfCO, because the GVC, the operational authorization, as it will be with GVC permissions on, doesn't exist yet. So you'll be given a PfCO by the CAA. However, when you then come to renew, at the first point of renewal after the GVC kicks in, that is when you will get your you will get given your operational authorization with your GVC permissions. So it's very much the same at the moment. It's the future-proofed qualification. Hopefully that answers your question, Norrie. But yes, you'll get a PfCO at the moment because the GVC, the operational authorization, doesn't exist yet until the new framework comes in, and that's it. Neil Whaling, what if you have a heart attack, collapse onto the landing mat, and you've told the client to press return to home? Then the drone will come back. They'll land it on in accordance with certainly our teaching in the drone school. You know, you are ultimately, if you doing that, you're reducing the risk. So you know, because if you haven't briefed them to press return to home, then what they're going to do? Much better to teach them or tell them what to do, inform them what to do, and yeah, you should be good. It'll be a viral video. Yeah, exactly that. Yes, Steve, got the tech right. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm on a wired connection. We have drilled through into the garage, and we've wired everything up now. And the audio, thank you very much. We've tried very, very hard to sort the audio out because it was really frustrating. Doing the GVC, excellent. Thank you, Norrie, from Airview Scotland, doing the GVC with us. Right, Phantom and Drone, nice to see you. I'm glad you, I hope you enjoyed it. There we go. Next Monday, GVC practical test. So excited. Good luck for that. I hope it goes well. Weather should be nice anyway, so hopefully be able to get a bit of practice in between now and then. Ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go and spend a little bit of time with Mrs. MPW before the young children, no doubt, wake up again soon. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been very much appreciated. Please let us know if there are other things you'd like to see, or if you would like us to do things slightly differently. You know, if you'd like a bit more of this in rather than the kind of conversational pieces with influencers and you know, experts within the industry. We're here to do this for you. Before you go, please don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, spread the news about the channel on all the forums and groups that you are in, and go and follow Sean over at GEEKSVANA, and go and follow Ian in London. We should be bringing you more over the next week or so. Stay safe, everyone. Look after yourselves, and I hope you have a great weekend when it comes. Fly safe and blue skies.